Welcome back to the Trine Thunder Football Pregame Show. My name is Geoffrey Chiles. Our guest each week, Trine Football head coach Troy Abbs. Absolutely ginormous win at Hope, Coach, 35-25. You were trailing 25-21 in the fourth quarter. What does it mean to you to see a performance like Lamar Carswell that maybe you expect him almost to do something like that, but what does it tell you about his character that he's the guy that scored the touchdowns when you need him the most?
Oh, he stepped it up. We had a stop on defense, and he came over to me and he told me, "Coach, I got you. I got us, Coach. I got us." And he got us. It was impressive. He's a special player, and I thought our offensive line did a great job late in the game. I think all the hard work and their conditioning and it really paid off as well. But Lamar really hit a couple of home runs there in the bottom of the ninth to help us pull off a good victory.
This was just an absolutely amazing game to call. I'm sure fun for you to coach in this game. Where does this win rank against a team like Hope in their stadium in your long coaching career at Trine?
Well, Hope's a tough place to play. It always has been. In my 13 years, I think we've played there 7 times. We've only won 3. So we've had some big wins there. I think 2008 was probably the biggest win. Our nose tackle blocked an extra point for a 30-31 victory with 30 seconds left in the game. So Christian Burley came up with a big block. I'm looking forward to seeing him later today, and that was definitely one of the bigger wins. But this was up there as well.
Well, it is homecoming week as we're now moments away from kickoff, welcoming back all the former players and alumni. We'll touch on that 2008 team in just a bit. Hope's quarterback, Apple, in this game hit a few big plays on your defense early over the top. You guys were able to transcend that and rebound from that and make bigger plays later in the game when you needed to make them. How did you create the adjustments defensively for what they were doing in the passing attack?
Well, Hope did a complete 180 on their offense. The offense that they ran was not what we had prepared for. It's not what we saw in the first 3 games of the year. So we made a lot of adjustments. I mean, we couldn't wait until halftime. It had to be done on the sidelines right away or just while the game was going on. When you have those types of adjustments, sometimes you'll have a bust in coverage or something like that. Eyes got in the wrong place, and we allowed a couple of big passing plays. After we were able to correct that, get our guys refocused, and not be overwhelmed by the gravity of the big game, we were in much better shape.
Brandon Winters came in after Andrew Duckett the first few series and then seemed to take over at the quarterback position later on in the game. Great performance by him, 10 of 12, 145 yards. Seemed to show greater poise in the pocket in this game. How did his performance strike you as you had time to reflect on it?
Well, he played a great game. I still believe that we have 2 great quarterbacks, 2 guys that are going to help us, that can help us, that have the ability to help us win a conference championship. But Brandon he had that look in his eye, and he was very, very sharp, and the ball was coming out of his hand in a very, very crisp manner, and Brandon and as well, and Brandon just was a little bit more crisp in what he was doing, so we had to go with him, and it'll be that way throughout the year. I mean, if somebody's got a hot hand, we're going to go ahead and let them play out the game.
2008 team returning to be inducted into the Trine Hall of Fame this week. I'm sure a lot of memories come flooding back for you. What's your greatest memory of that 2008 championship football team?
They were just a group that loved to play football, and they loved each other, and they worked extremely hard. Favorite memory would have been as the guys were getting off the bus to play Adrian in the 9th game of the year, which was our final conference game of the year. We had a non-conference game to finish up the season. And I shook every one of their hands as they got off the bus and kind of started a tradition. And you could tell right then and there that they were locked in, and it was going to be a good day for us, especially on the defensive side of the ball. That's all I was worried about at that point in time. Now it's a much bigger picture.
Well, the 2018 edition of your football team, homecoming, they returned to Zollner for it's been a month of time. Now you're back at home facing an Alma team that, while they might not lead statistically or be at the top of the conference right now, they have a very potent passing attack. What's the game plan against the Alma quarterback, Ippel, and his receivers, two good ones in Hinkle and Kruger?
I really think they've got three good receivers and a tight end, and those guys are in the game most of the time. They're a talented offense, and he's a very good quarterback. We've just got to make sure that we do our job and don't try to do more than that. If we do that, we'll be okay.
Glad to be joined each week by Trine head football coach Troy Abbs as we get ready for homecoming. Alma playing the Thunder a visit to Zollner Stadium. We'll have the kickoff in a few moments, and right after this, you're watching Trine football on the Trine Broadcasting Network.